Good evening, everybody. Here we are once again. It's another Saturday night, and I'm live once again. Some like to come in a little late, some are early, some tune in the next day or the following day. But whoever tunes in this evening, thank you. I will always say the same thing, just like I do in my podcast, that I'm grateful and thankful for everyone who does watch. So I guess I'll wait a few minutes, see if anybody comes on in. I know I get a lot of stragglers after the fact, and I get a lot of people in the following days who tune in. Um, Feel free in the chat forum or the comment section or anything like that to let me know if 9 o'clock works better. I know 8 o'clock works for me because of how early I get up in the morning, usually during the week. So we'll hang out for a little bit here until we get somebody watching. I'm not sure who. I'm looking at my phone. I just want to see what time it is. And let's say 8 o'clock. I guess you could say I'm on time for some reason. But it's great to have everybody on board, like I said. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. If anybody wants to ask me anything, if they tune in late, catch up where we were, we will. But I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about Christians in the workplace, which seems to be an issue for some folks who don't work. But those who do work, I want to really get into that. There's a lot of issues that we have to deal with, a lot of obstacles that we have to deal with along the way. Well, I'm glad it works out for you. Good timing. Brandon, nice to have you here. I think, Brandon, if I remember correctly, you were talking to some atheists at work. I could be wrong. I sometimes get the folks mixed up once in a while, so I apologize if that wasn't you. But we deal with a lot of different people along the way in the workplace, and far too often I've found over the years there's not really a lot of answers of what to do. And sometimes it's really simple things. We do have to lead by example, no doubt about it. We are those who that's good. Okay, good. I'm not getting too old where my memory hasn't failed me yet. Good. Only on certain things. Only when my wife asked me to take out the trash. Just kidding. It's just a joke. But we have to deal with these people with love. I know that the people always want to be against. They want to be hard-nosed, and there is a time, and we'll talk about that maybe even next week. I don't know about discernment. When to be hard with some people, when to be a little soft. Understanding the person you're talking to. Listen to that person first. Kind of get a feel for who they are, and if you have some knowledge in different fields, whether it be I have a good friend here, Brendan, an atheism or Hinduism. If people say, well, I won't study any of that stuff. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm just going to give them the word of God. And that's great. But if you can't understand where they're coming from, how are you going to combat them? And you don't have to study every religion under the sun to try to combat them. But we lead by example. We lead by our work ethic. And it's tough sometimes when people are just not doing their job. We have that all the time. Or you could have a coworker who makes something up about you. That happens. You could be passed over for a job, which you know you're qualified for. It didn't happen to me. I'm just saying. Maybe it has happened to me and I don't remember it. But you could be passed over for something. Or they look at you, you're like you feel like they're talking about you behind your back. And me, I love when people talking behind my back. It doesn't bother me one iota. It means that I maybe have gotten under their skin. Maybe something I've said has sunk in. I don't know. But we are always going to be faced with the realities of having to deal with people that are not Christians. And if you're not in the workplace, and if you're not out there in the world, how are you ever going to spread the gospel? How are you ever going to bring any sort of truth to them? You can't when you hide on the internet. You can't hide. You can't if you hide at home. And I know I get on that a lot, but it bothers me a lot. Not only pastors and buildings, but those online. You can't hide. So if you're hiding behind internets and you're not out there working, you're not out on the fields, one would think I'm not blessed to be out on the road all day long driving around on my route. I consider it a blessing. I think it's great because I get to talk to many people. So we have the ability when we're in our workplace to show them what it's like to be a born-again Christian, Don't get sucked in a vortex. And some are going to ask you questions that might seem a little weird. Now, it just happened to me last week. I went to a hospital, and this is not, I don't want anybody to, oh, you're just talking about your works and what you do to how to be better, whatever. I could stumble on my words. Anyways, there was a group text because the drivers have a group text of like what's going on out there. Does anybody know the location, how to get to somewhere, things like that. So one was talking about he had to leave, he had to go. His wife was rushed to the hospital to have a surgery. He's not a born again Christian. He's actually a Catholic, but a non-practicing Catholic. I've talked to him before. He knows where I am, and I continue to talk to him about Catholicism. And so I went to the hospital to be with him, to pray with him, because I want him to know that what we do, what born again Christians are willing to do, and how far we go to pray for others, to help others, to be there for others. And and I felt the pulling from the Lord to go. And I thought to myself, why am I going to go to this hospital for this Catholic guy? The Lord led me there. And it turns out while I was there, I was basically witnessing to my boss, actually, who was a non-practicing Muslim. And I thought to myself, that was weird. That's not what, and he was asking some questions. If you're not going to work every day, and if you're not in the workplace, how are you going to come up with be in these situations? And it's hard sometimes. It is. You feel like an outcast. You feel like you're the weirdo in the crowd or whatever. I'm happy to be that weirdo. And that's what you have to realize. You have to accept that you are in a great place. The perfect place to be in this world is an outcast because of your beliefs in the Lord. That you're a born-again Christian, you're an outcast, that's an awesome thing. That is the greatest outcast you can possibly be, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's a wonderful place to be in. But you're going to be in those situations, and you'll have people ask you kind of weird questions, and you have to use discernment of, are they trying to, trap me in something here? Are they trying to trip me up? What is their real motive of asking questions? Some are asking legitimate questions because they're curious, because they know what they've heard, and now that they're in front of someone who is a born-again Christian or claims to be a born-again Christian in their eyes, they get to ask these questions. So how do you answer them? Yeah, for me, sometimes I will ask them questions back and try to clarify. And I'll ask things, well, what do you mean? I don't, what do you mean? They talk about the Bible. Well, which Bible you follow? Well, what do you mean by which Bible? Like, are you talking English Bible? Are you talking, and that's when they go, wait, what do you mean, what Bible? Is there more than one? Oh, yeah, there is. So now you open that door to even talking about that there are different versions of the Bible that they've never heard of in their life. So that's one avenue that you can go down with. So there's a lot of different things you can do in the workplace. Different people, different. I worked with a woman who claimed to be a witch and a pagan and something and whatever it was. And she says to me one day, and I use this story a lot because it cracks me up because of her experience with Christians when she was younger and how they act. She thought we were all just judgmental and that we will look down upon anybody. That's not what born-again Christians do or are supposed to do. And if you are doing that, don't do that. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to look down on everybody because every one of us was at some point lost. And there were people looking down on you at one time. So don't be like that. Avoid that route. And she didn't know. She thought I should hate her because of what she is. I'm like, why should I hate you? And I've told her, I said, right now you're going to hell and you're going to burn. Absolutely, 100%. But I hope you don't. And I'm praying that you see the way. So there is a view sometimes. And mainly it's due to either zealots that they've seen on the YouTube, or it's the church buildings that people go to, different denominations where their experience is like, these are just Bible thumping crazy people, that happens. A guy I worked with, the Catholic, he was talking about, he's not really he's married to a woman who's a Bible thumper, which I was interested in. I looked at him. I says, I guess that's me. And I guess his wife was a Baptist, which was interesting. But we have the opportunity that you're going to come across more lost people than you will Christians. And I mean true born-again Christians. There's a lot of people that just call themselves Christians. Not so much. Know them by their fruits. We have to be ready for all things because people are going to want to mess you up. They're going to try to trip you. They're going to try to get you sucked into some vortex. You don't want to fall for that. Just stay true, stay steady, and try to discern that moment. And I say it over again because far too often we are not using discernment. And that is the most important thing to be doing is using discernment. People are going to trip you up or attempt to do so because they want that. They want to engage in an argument or get you mad or get under your skin. You don't have to be mad. You don't have to have them get under your skin. Now, I know some people want to, be zealots. They want to be just hard-nosed with people they work with, or they're just going to go, I'm not talking to you because you're not a Christian, so I'm not talking to you. Well, that's a fine way to help them, learn the gospel, isn't it? That's a good way to spread the word, isn't it? When you're witnessing, is that how you witness? That's not a good way to witness. And I understand people are going to try and attack you or make fun of you or snicker behind your back. You'll see people do things that are so unscrupulous. You're going to see people do things that are absolutely, lack of better phrasing, a sentencing, so immoral against what you should do. And then you have to ask yourself, what do I do in this situation? Do I go rat to the boss? Do I go snitch him out? Do I go say something? Do I say something to somebody else behind their back? Do I do all these things? A lot of things go through your mind. For me, and this is what I do, I confront the situation in different ways. Again, what I said before about discernment, if you've understood that person and you spend time with that person and talk to that person, you kind of get a feel for who they are. Then you talk to them about things. Go, hey, dude, come on, man. Is that right? What are you, some kind of, goody two-shoes? You're going to get a lot of that. Do not ever let that happen. And that's why I wanted this channel to be here. Or I should say this particular, or these live streams every Saturday, is because when you feel like the whole world's been against you as a born-again Christian, there's got to be somewhere where born-again Christians can go. Some sort of networking where they can talk to other people about their experiences throughout the day and throughout the week. So because far too often we don't have any. Sometimes you can't. There's not a family member you can turn to because you may not be in a family of born-again Christians. You might be married to one. That's great. And you may have children and so forth. You're not going to talk to your children. Maybe you got a brother, sister, but not all the time. And so we need to have a place that when your whole week, you're fighting these battles, there's a place that you can go and talk to, whether it be other people or get it off your chest here on my live stream, and that's fine. Or find another live stream that you can get off your chest there too. That's fine too. We need a spot because we are dealing with a lot every day. There's a lot of things you want to do. There's a lot of things you want to say, and you've got to hold yourself back from that. Because you could be angry, you could be, righteous, you can be indignant, there's so many things. Because it angers you and it bothers you that people are like this in the workplace. But don't let it ever get you. Don't let it get you down. I'm not trying to give you some sort of Tony Robbins speech. No, we live in a negative world. This is not a positive world. You can be anything you want to be. That's a lie too. Remember when you were in high school? I'm digressing. You used to have the posters on the wall there, right? You can be anything you put your mind to. Well, that's not true. Not all of us can be an astronaut. Okay? That's the foolish thing I ever heard of in my life. We have to have a place. And the encouragement has to be there. It's just missing in this world. It's just missing. And you struggle through that whole week. Like I said, maybe Monday wasn't so bad, or you got the Monday blues, they call it, or Tuesday or Wednesday. There's always going to be things that you come across during the week, and you're wondering how you're going to get through that. And you want to reach out to somewhere or something, but nobody wants to give you quite the answer. Or maybe it's not the answer you want, but they're not addressing the problem or even attempting to try and address the problem. They just want to yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, just go pray about it. Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Go pray about it. But I'm asking you. I'm talking to you. You're supposed to be a brother or a sister. You're not helping? You don't want to even listen to what's going on? And we do have a lot of problems. Everybody's going through something. Everybody. We have personal issues. We got family issues. All types of things are going on. And we don't have a place to turn. They're preaching that down to you, and I say preaching down to you because folks are just preaching down to you or at you as if you're a moron. And that happens a lot. I've had some people like that. Oh, good evening, all right. I had to look up here for the camera, sorry. Good evening, good to have you aboard. Hopefully the girls won't mess around with your phone tonight. I'm just kidding. But getting back to what I was saying, each day is going to be a struggle. No matter where you are in this world, if you are working for a living, there will be struggles. And we have to get through those days. And it's easy for those who are not ever in those situations to tell you what you're going to do. I can do the same thing. I can sit here and just tell you, well, this is what you should do. I mean, I don't know and I don't work in your field, but this is what you should do. Every situation is different. And a lot of different people have different ideas doing bedtime. Oh, I hope that goes well. Sometimes with kids, it can be rough to get them to bed. You know, I got my two youngest one. I'll tell you what, boy, I got one. The youngest one likes to yap a lot, kind of like his dad, just talking. But there are going to be those things. You can't let it get you. You can't bring that struggle from work and bring it home with you either. You got to leave it there. But you're going to find agnostics, atheists, Catholics, Muslims, the whole darn kit and caboodle. I don't know if you won't always be able to tell a Calvinist or a Presbyterian when you're at work, but there are some that you know and you can tell. Don't let that ever stop you from having an opportunity to witness. And there are different ways to do that. And I know I speak a little bit of vagary when I say every situation is different, but every situation is different. Unlike some of the hats, the one size doesn't fit all. So understanding, listening to that person, and then kind of getting a feel for who they are, ask questions, and you can get there. Like I said, you can ice break with a lot of different situations, a lot of things, a lot of questions. When they ask you something, you can open it up with that. Like I mentioned earlier, when that gentleman was talking to me about the Bible, and I said, well, which Bible? And then he asked, what do you mean, which Bible? The Bible. I'm like, there's more than one Bible. So which Bible? And he didn't know that. He was fascinated by that. He couldn't believe it. He goes, they're all the same. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not all the same. So it all depends on which one. So learn without preaching at him or talking down to him and not doing any of that. I've already opened that door of communication. And so can you. Any situation, a door can be opened. Sometimes you can save people on the spot. You can, let me rephrase that. Someone's going to say, you can't save anybody. That's not what I meant. I meant you can bring them the gospel. They can turn to the Lord and overnight. It happens. Sometimes you have to work on that. You have the little things, little tidbits, you drop little hints here and there, kind of like gospel tracts. Not all about me, but I'm saying what I do, and and y'all can do the same thing. I order the different gospel tracts. I think I didn't order the other ones. I'm about to order some from Bible Baptist Bookstore down there in Pensacola, Florida, which I'm looking to try to go. It's only like 7 hours from me, so I might take a drive down one of these weekends. But order those up. I go to the gas stations as I stop to get water or go to the bathroom because I'm on the road all day long, so 10, 12 hours sometimes on the road. Yeah, you got to go to the bathroom. So I'll go in there. I'll drop them in the bathroom. I'll put them on near the food area where, you can buy like those hot dog things that are on the rollers. I don't eat those. I'm good, thank you. So I'll put them there, and maybe a lot of them will get thrown away. It's possible. Maybe one will get in the right hand. You just keep on going. Just keep. I've done all the talking, but if anybody wants to jump in, feel free. But I'll keep talking. Goodness knows I can talk forever. I got to cut myself off sometimes. Sometimes I ramble. But look at that. I had to take a deep breath. Maybe I should take a drink of water while I'm at it. There you go. A little parched there. But every day is going to bring a new struggle. And maybe you'll go through a whole day where nothing goes wrong. And I hope that happens. I hope you go through a whole day and nothing goes wrong in your day. But you're probably going to be confronted at some point in the workplace. And I say workplace, by the way, because it doesn't have to be in a building. Lack of a better word, workplace. Some are working as like myself, delivery drivers. Some are working in the fast food industry. Some are in retail. Some are in the working construction. Some are working as an engineer somewhere. I know a gentleman I used to know up on Stafford. He's in some sort of engineer on submarines or something. I have no idea. I don't usually ask anybody what they do for a living unless it comes up in conversation, because honestly, I don't care what people do for a living. Don't get me wrong. What I care more about is you and your salvation. Are you saved? Are you trying to live your life for God? I don't care where you work. It don't matter to me. It's cool to talk about it, and I don't have a problem with it. But I don't base who you are on all the time on what you do, unless you do something you really shouldn't be doing. I mean, that happens too. No, that's goes without saying. But whatever happens Monday, even on Monday, you got Tuesday coming. And I'm fortunate. Like I said, when I go to different locations, I say different statements of the day. I thank the Lord. I'll go to one particular place. I thank the Lord for every day I'm given. God has blessed me with a wonderful family. I'm like, yep, I hear you. I said, no. And I'll say, I said it on one. EM Collisions. Well, I shouldn't throw out names of places. Sorry. I said, no. Being a born-again Christian, I said, I am blessed to have what I have. And she looked at me and she goes, oh, that's wonderful. So now that person knows it's there. So she may have a question down the road. She may not have a question down the road behind there. Another gentleman, same thing. He knows. I don't hide it from anywhere. So that's my problem with folks who don't work and they're never there and they claim to be Christians. Now, some can have a disability. They're out there. Disability is an interesting thing. A lot of people say they're disabled. I'm going to get into that. I don't usually talk about too much. So my boss has a disability, has breathing issues, migraine headaches. He's got these hearing aid things or whatever they are in his ears, and I don't think he knows his channel. Maybe he's going to yell at me when I get to work if he found my channel. So he served in the Army, and he's disabled. He doesn't have to work. They told him he doesn't have to work. He's disabled. But he wanted to go to work. And he's allowed to go to work. So, and I asked him about that. He's perfectly allowed. He's disabled, and he can collect a disability. But he chose not to because he wants to work. He likes working. And he still gets to collect his monthly check from the armed forces. I was surprised at that. I was like, oh, okay. So when I said, so that's what I mean, like, there are certain disabilities you can. If you're outright crippled, I guess you can't work. I guess I don't know, but I'm sorry. Are you? I apologize. Are you talking about? I just saw the comment. I'm sorry. Are you talking about the disability as a crutch? I assume you meant crutch and not clutch. So I apologize for that. And put on my glasses because I'm blind. I have to read. Not really blind. as I was just talking about disability, someone would say, "Oh, you're making fun of people who are blind." That was just a comment. But we have the ability each day as a Christian to go and witness to someone in the workplace where we are. It doesn't matter where we're at. There's always opportunities. And I know there are some of you out there that have trepidation. You don't feel like your particular workplace is a good idea. Now, you don't have to outright, like I said, there's little hints you can drop. But I promise you this, and I will do my best with this channel every week to open the ability for us to talk here, to help each other, to exhort each other through these times, these weeks, these days, to be there. So no matter what's going on during the week, while they attack you every single day, here, it's not going to happen. We're going to help each other figure out a way that's good for your workplace and how you can witness. It's all about spreading the word. It's all about getting Bibles in their hands. It's all about exposing them to the beauty, especially of the King James Bible. And it is going to be tough in some places. I'm not going to sit here and tell you bold-faced lies, say it's easy in every job. It's not easy in every job. It's easier for me because I'm a big mouth. I guess you can say someone will go, you just talk a lot and your just mouth keeps running. Yeah, it does. But how do I say this in the right way? But I've been through enough things in my life and been through so much along the way that I am not concerned about people saying something bad about me. Now, if you say something about my family, obviously I'm going to have a different response, clearly. But I don't mind. I am more of a kick down the door kind of guy in most cases. You know, my favorite comment used to be, the comment, "Don't rock the boat." And I used to tell people all the time, many people, never mind rock the boat. I'm going to flip that boat right over. You know, we have to be bold. We have to be courageous, but we have to also be smart. We have to be tactical. You know, we have to have a strategy. There are a lot of things that come into play, and I think that's the problem with a lot of preachers and pastors out there. They tell you this one way, and it's just a blanket form, and it's not a blanket form of dealing with everybody in the workplace, and you have different personalities. If you've ever been a manager or a boss or anything like that, or a supervisor, then you have to be able to balance those different people that you work with. You understand, you look, you take a notice of things. Thank you for agreeing. You didn't have to agree, but I don't mind you agreeing. But and by the way, I don't think I said thank you for coming aboard and on the show. I forgot to say thank you for tuning in. Sorry about that. But we are balancing those things, as I was saying, in the different workplaces and different people and different locations. A lot of different attitudes. Think about having children. I have 3 at home, and there's another one who doesn't live at home. And he's going through his struggles, and I pray that he gets through them. I think the kid has a good heart, but he is so messed up and confused with where he is in religiousness and how his approach to life and things like that. I believe deep down, underneath all the garbage, that kid, there's a heart there somewhere. He needs to get rid of the garbage. But he went his way, and he decided to do what he's going to do out there. You know, I got another one, good kid. He's this close. People go, "Oh, okay, so you're a Christian on here preaching, so we can judge you on your children. And if you want, that's fine. Go ahead. You can do what you want. But I know that my kids are better than most kids are, and not as good as others. When you have adult kids and they go on their own, you're not responsible anymore. They're going to rebel. They think they know it all. I did the same thing. I grew up in the church, by the way, a Pentecostal church. And I flew the coop, man. I flew the coop. But I came back to God. Well, I shouldn't say that. I never left God, but I never came back to Pentecostalism. I never came back to that. But if the seeds are there, and you lay a foundation. And, you think about the prodigal son when he had all the knowledge, he knew, and then he was overtaken by flesh and the world. And fortunately, he was able to come back, and he saw the error of his ways before it was too late. Does it always happen? No. But you hope that it does. You pray and hope that it does. I guess for me, I was kind of a prodigal. I was gone. And when I was searching and seeking and asking questions and how do I deal with things, pastors couldn't answer. And for a long time, I never could understand why could they not answer my question. I'm like, this is what I'm dealing with. And then as I got older and older, and here I am, I'm older, they don't know because they didn't have to deal with it. They go to seminary. They go become a youth pastor, a music pastor. What do you call the, I can't think of it. And you're in charge of the music director there in the church. And then you get associate professor. I always say that, associate pastor and mood pastor. And I'm like, you get paid. And you never have to really have a real job. And you have to never really deal with everyday matters in life. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, they don't know. And that's when I had an issue with, paid pastors. Always have. I'm worship leader. Let me click here. Thank you. I couldn't even think of it off the top of my head. They don't know because they're not out there every day. And I thought, wow, that hit me one day. I'm like, these guys, they don't know. They just go from now, I understand that they were well-meaning and wanting to go originally to these places because they were taught this as they were younger and like, go off to, you're a godly man. Then go to the seminary and you come out and be a pastor and a minister and a priest. But how do you pastor? How are you a shepherd of a flock which you don't understand? You don't understand your sheep. You don't understand the tendencies, their quirks, the way they do things, when they go to their feeding. I know it sounds, I'm just thinking of homesteading and farming, but when they go to the sheep, when they eat, what time, their behavior patterns. You don't know because you don't know what it's like to go through what they go through. You can have empathy, sympathy, I guess. You can say, hey, I get it. I understand what you're going through. But they don't sometimes. Now, I'm not knocking all pastors. I'm not knocking all preachers that exist in the world. There are some preachers who do not get paid. They have like these little tiny church buildings and they do their thing and they don't get paid. And that's fine. I'm not knocking them. At least they're working. At least they're out there. At least they're in the workplace. They understand the daily struggle. And if they understand the daily struggle, they understand your daily struggle and they can talk to you and they can help you if they can through that daily struggle. It's important because like I said, we're going to go through every day of the week. I just want to look at the time. It's only been a half hour. I just want to look because sometimes I go a little longer than I should. So I want to make sure I stay at my hour, it's a comfortable place to be in 1 hour. Other people can talk all they want. Nobody wants to talk. Everybody's watching. But you can jump right in and you can call me crazy if you want. You don't have to call me crazy. I'm just saying. Yes, I drink a lot of water. You'll see me take a lot of sips because I'm a big water drinker. I'm telling you right now. That is 99% of my beverage intake is water. Sometimes it's apple juice. I'm going off the trail, but sometimes it's apple juice, water. Sheesh. Oh, sometimes a little bit of milk. Occasionally I'll have milk with spaghetti. Don't know why I'm offering that information, but we're having a conversation here, and I believe in an open dialogue, and not much. I don't. It's nothing off. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, it's getting late tonight. Nothing off topic or anything like that. Trying to think of the word now. Anyways, I don't. As long as it's not trying to attack my family members or anything like that, then we're fine. If you want, there are certain things that you keep yourselves in private and you talk on the side, but in accountability. I'm going off on. We're talking about Christian workplace. We have to think about accountability too. It's in you're being held accountable as a born-again Christian. Remember that. That's nothing. When you get angry and you snap at people, they're like, aha, and they try. People are going to try. I think one of the little minions of Satan was working this week against me. Or was it this week? It was Monday. No, it was last week. I apologize. The days blend together. And I was talking to one of the drivers about the system of how we were moving things. I says, we need to have a better organization here of how we do these and get our trucks ready for the day. I mean, we have to and this particular other driver went and told the boss that I was complaining about the place and I was talking garbage about it. I'm like, what? So he called me and asked me, and I says, no, I'm going to tell you exactly what I said. I said, in fact, I would like to confront that driver, too, about coming in here and lying about me. Because I do believe in confrontation, but not an angry confrontation, because what the Bible says in Matthew, we confront the person, right? We confront them first, then we bring it to the next level and then the next level, which a lot of people don't do. I've talked about that before. They just go straight to the end and like, boom, done. No, confront the person about the problem and say, listen, why did you say such and such when that didn't happen at all? I guarantee you they'll never lie about people again if they're confronted about it. Well, they won't lie about you again, most likely. Maybe they'll lie about other people. But that confrontation never happened because, well, we don't want to start any trouble. And I'm thinking that's the problem in the world. Nobody wants to. Oh, I don't want to start any trouble, be a problem, or I don't want to, create any issues or anything like that. Why? Every day, issues are being created by people. And what do you do as a Christian in the workforce to combat that and to deal with that in the right way and show them how the Bible does it? And I remember saying to my boss, I said, here, this is what Matthew says. We have certain levels of doing things. You go to the person, you go to the next level, and you bring it to everyone, and then you go from there. That's what the Bible says. And that's what I told him. I said, you know that I'm biblical? This is how it works. This is how people do things. This is how you should do it by the Bible. That's all it is. That's how you solve problems. He goes, well, yeah, I know that you should. I'm like, okay. People will whisper behind your back and it might get back to you. He goes, yeah, that guy, Christian guy, always talking about God, which is hilarious. I think to myself, I'm like, always talking about God. I don't know what Christians walk into buildings going, okay, good morning, everybody. You're all going to hell. God is here to save you. Let's get into the scriptures, and you're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. Wouldn't that be a fun day, wouldn't it? You're going to hell, and you're going to hell. It doesn't. Real born-again Christians don't do that. It just it's not a thing. Now, everybody doesn't walk into their workplace like a member of the Westboro Baptist Church. I think it's Westboro Baptist Church out there who used to picket funerals and soldiers' funerals or something like that or whatever. And again, people will say, oh, see, you're being soft. There's a time to be soft and there's a time to be hard. It's called tough love. There's a time for that. Again, understanding the times of season. The Bible talks about the seasons. Different. There's a time to mourn. There's a time to cry. There's a time to laugh. There's a time to dance. There's a time to. There is a time for all things, but you have to understand when that time is. And most importantly, when you want to decide what the time is or use discernment, pray first. Pray. I didn't mean to point at you in a negative way. Pray. Lord, give me the ability to deal with the situation at hand. And I'm going to be the first one to admit, I don't pray enough as far as I'm concerned. I should pray more, and I should pray more, and I should pray more. I should pray without ceasing, as the Bible says, but sometimes I don't. And we should be in the scriptures every day. Are we? I will say no. Now, my wife and I we're in the Bible. I would have to say 98% of the time. I love just throwing out random percentage numbers. In the last month and a half, I think we missed 2 days. We did not read 2 days. We should have at least put one chapter in. We should have been reading, but because we just restarted the Bible, we're in, I think, 2 Samuel. I think we just started 2 Samuel, yeah. We're starting again from Genesis to Revelation. But be that light that we're supposed to be. There are Christians out there who don't want to. They don't want. They just like, I don't want to. And again, I'm not being negative to your situation. I understand different workplaces are different, but you should always figure out a way or find a way or look for that moment or that opportunity to drop that something, anything to break the ice of it. Well, keep your religion to yourself. First of all, it's not a religion. I follow Christ. I follow the Bible. I don't follow a denomination. I don't follow a Baptist denomination, a Roman Catholic Church, a Presbyterian, a Calvinist. I don't follow any denomination. Assemblies of God, Church of Christ, Church of God, Seventh Day. You won't find me following the rules of a denomination. I find that I'm an outcast in both ways. I'm an outcast of the church buildings, and I'm an outcast of the people who don't go to church buildings. And that's fine by me. That is absolutely fine. Because where I don't want to be an outcast from is here. That's where I want to stay. As long as I'm here, I don't care that I'm an outcast of the rest of the world, because I'm here. And that's all that matters. Not some pastor, not a preacher, not a denomination, not an online chat forum, nothing. I feel like I'm getting a little heated for no reason. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to raise my tone. Did I raise my tone? I might have raised my tone. I guess it's the New Englander in me, and I'm not from New England anymore. Not that I don't like people in New England. I'm just saying I'm down here in the South. Which is funny. I moved down here south, and I'm here for the 30th anniversary of a big snowstorm that happened down here in Tennessee. I'm like, well, I moved here at perfect time to get another snowstorm. I'm like, I didn't like that at all. I was looking to go south to get a little warmer. You know, when you get older and it gets colder, you want to head south. You tend to want to get a little warm breeze. Say what you will. Some people love the cold weather. I'm not a big fan. I'll deal with it if I have to. Done it for a long time. But I have there are folks that I know that are still up there in that type of weather. And sorry, man. I'm out. No more snow for this guy. No more shoveling. So, and I feel like I'm going to beat this down over and over again. What do you do in the workplace? How are you doing in the workplace? What is your strategy? Are you in a place where it's not as easy? Are you in a place where, I can say what I want? And it's tough. It is tough. It is tough sometimes. Other times it's easy, but it's tough. When you have everybody, you look around you and you're like, man, every one of you breaking every rule under the sun. And you're like, man, am I the only one who cares about morals? But you keep going. You keep going. Don't let that bring you down. We have to lead by our hard work. We have to lead by our speech. We have to lead by example. That's what we have to do. And it's not always easy because you want to get angry. You want to get mad. It happens. You get frustrated. You get terribly frustrated some days. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to change my mind. I might go back on a vacation on Cape Cod in the summertime or something if I can ever afford to go on vacation again. But, no. New England yours, buddy. New England is yours. You can hang on to that all day long. I'm not done up there. Although I've met a few good people up there, including yourself, sir. I've met a few good people. But that's the problem. We have to be there for each other in the workplace to talk about these things at the end of the week. But we have to also exhort each other. We have to be there with open arms and open doors. And you might not be in a place where you can just invite people to your house, and you might have children and you're worried about people around your children. I get that. But if you can find somewhere, I know I'm going off base here a little bit. Sometimes I go off track. But if you can somehow open your door to someone in this world, you can find somebody locally, get to know them, show them the way, or even if you find a fellow Christian in your area and you want to go out for a cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee. I know, crazy, huh? But far too often you hear people talk about, you should do that. You should really invite another person to your house, and you should go out and have dinner with somebody. We shouldn't just be talking in church on a Sunday. We should get up together on a Tuesday or Wednesday. It never happens, does it? A lot of people talk about opening their doors to others, but it just never happens. A lot of people don't. For whatever reason, I don't know. Everybody has their own reasons why they don't do it. And it because you feel like that person may not be who you thought they were, or they may think they're not the person that you think they are, and it just goes on and on. But yeah, again, I went off track on that one, but that's what's bothered me, and that's why I've been gone for a little while. Some of you know I've done a live stream in the past, not just you, Jorge. I know you know about it, but other people may know or may not know. But it didn't go as I had planned it to go, and it was. I learned from it. I learned from things there that the Lord opened my eyes to some not so good things that were going on. But everything's a learning lesson. Everything, you learn from everything. And I took a step back for a little while from the idea of doing a live stream, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do another one again. I don't know if I want to, what's missing? What is it that people are not getting? Then it dawned on me. We have too many. You ever hear the phrase, "Is too many chiefs, not enough Indians"? I don't know if that's a racist. If it is, sorry. I just remember I don't know if that's an old racist comment or not. I have no idea, but I knew it as a kid. And what that basically means is everybody wants to be in charge. Everybody wants to be a teacher. Everybody wants to be a preacher. Everybody wants to be this, that, but nobody's actually listening. And it's all about what they want, their motives. And that's when it really decided that this live stream was going to be something that was, the Christian version of We the People, so to speak, and about the people, not about me, not about one particular person, not about all my messages. Listen, I can do that on my podcast on Sunday nights. I guess that's a plug for my podcast on Sunday nights. But I can. That's where I talk about what I want to talk about, what I'm doing. You know what I mean? What I feel is important and what I want to get out there and stuff like that, and what I'm talking about. But this here is supposed to be about all of us. It's about exhorting one another. It's about helping each other. It's about us as a community out there. We want to get into scriptures, we get into scriptures. We want to talk about this, we want to talk about that. Let's talk about those things. I don't have a problem with that as long as we keep it, appropriate, obviously. I'm trying to think of the best way of saying it, and not go off the rails, because a lot of times nobody's concerned about each other as Christians. We're not actually sitting back and saying, hey, how are you doing? Okay, I didn't even, what? I say too many chefs in the kitchen. Have to have one person in charge. At least that's how I think when it comes to the construction world. Yeah. Jorge, let me ask you if you ever heard this one before. You got that one guy. You're framing, right? You're putting the frame to the door, and you get that one guy standing out. That's not how I do it. You ever get that guy? It's always that one guy who goes, "No, how I would do it." Well, how would you do it? You get that a lot. Tell me you've gotten that one for people or somewhat close to that who always want to tell other people how they should do it, and they don't even know how to do it in the first place. Now, I'll be the first one. I don't frame doors. I used to for a while be ashamed of the fact that I couldn't do certain things, but then you have to realize we all can't do the same thing. We all have things that we can do, and we can help someone or give some sort of knowledge to, but we all can't do everything. We talked about we all can't be the fist, right? We can't all be that guy. We got fingers, we got toes, everybody is a different member of the church. We all have something to offer. And that's, again, as Christians, we have something to give to somebody else. And that's knowledge. That's experience. It's understanding. That's approach to something. That is, hey, listen, this is what I'm dealing with my mother-in-law or my mother or my father. I mean, some of you all know my father is, on his last legs. I mean, I don't foresee much longer for him. But a lot of people are dealing with different things, and we're never wanting to help. people. I want to say this properly. Not a lot of people. The old time. All right, I see that all the time with the old times. Even if something comes out perfect, that's not how I would do it. It says, yeah, I told you. You got a lot of folks like that out there, but that's in the Christian world too. You got to remember, in the Christian world, that's the same way. You got people. I think it was oh man, I can't remember the guy's name now. Ah, boy, that escaped me. But we have the church is the interesting. When you're in a church building, let's call them church buildings and non-church buildings. Let's talk about Christians in general. There are a lot of Christians out there that are always talking about how other Christians aren't doing something right. Well, if they're not doing something right, why don't you talk to them? Why don't you say, hey, listen, I don't want to get you offended, but I noticed, I was wondering if I could give you, my opinion or help you out or whatever it may be. It doesn't happen. They just go to somebody else going, you know what he said, right? That's not even right. I don't think he knows that that's right. Well, if he doesn't know that that's right and you know that it's right and you got backing for that, why don't you go to that person and tell them it's not right? But we don't do that, do we? We don't do that. We have Peter Ruckman. He said, well, I think he was saying one time that the worst people, the worst gospels in the world are people in the church. But I'll say Christians in general. I don't think he knows what the Bible is. I was just in the barbershop today, and this guy, the kid's got a haircut, so they have these little Rice Krispie treats in a bag. Two brothers run this little place. They seem like nice guys. They had these little cards, and I thought they were gift cards inside of it. So I grabbed them. What is that? So I pull it out, and it says Christian gift card. I'm like, what in the world? So I look on the back of it, and it says WVBS, and I'm thinking, what is this? I'm like, why does that sound familiar? I'm like, and I thought, wait a second. So I asked, I says, what is WVBS? Oh, he goes, that's World Video Bible Studies Online. I'm like, oh, I says, is that the Church of God or Church of Christ, whatever? He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, I know what this is. So, but that opened up the dialogue. And I said, I noticed a lot of them have splintered off into different Bible versions. He goes, yeah, some do. But see, there's another example of find anything you can. I just happened to be given that. Find anything you can. I'm all over the place. That you can open up a conversation with somebody. There's always something. There's always an opportunity. There's something out there. We do, I know, like I said before, down south we have blessing boxes. I don't know, again, I've never seen them in New England. They may exist. I don't know. I've seen book swap like places where you can go take a book, leave a book type of thing, but down here you can do blessing boxes. So what we did is we put gospel tracts inside the food because we need to bring two different types of food, two different types of sustenance. Food for the belly and the Word of God. You need both. You need one more than the other, but you need both to survive, ultimately. Find whatever you can. I think we're coming up on an hour, so it's 53 minutes left. It's not going to be easy every day. I promise you that. Everybody knows. Not every day is perfect at work. But like I said before, and I'm going to double back, the reason I got this channel was I was sick and tired of watching people tell people how to live when they have no idea how to live. You can't have guys out there telling you how to raise your children if they have no children. They tell you how to deal with your workplace, and they don't even work. They tell you how to be married, and they haven't even been married. You have a lot of these fools out there, and some are well-meaning. Some want to be nice, and they want to do the right thing. They want to be good. My advice to any of those type of people: be quiet, because you haven't seen it, you haven't done it. You don't have to have experience all the time. I mean, experience is overrated. No, it's really not overrated. It's not. Well, you're welcome anytime. I think I click on this. I get good at this. I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you giving me your time. Everybody's time is valuable, so thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate that. And God bless. If you're still on or leaving, God bless. I appreciate you coming aboard. I guess that's the best way of saying I'm never good at things like that. I'm better at talking with people a lot one-on-one, like out in the world. And some of us aren't, and I understand that. I would never condemn someone because they're not good at the same thing. Again, we all are good at something. We have to be here to help each other, or give each other advice in a biblical manner of how to approach things and how to do things. But yeah, these people, and like I said before, I just have a problem with them because of the fact that you've got to stop telling people how to live and how to do things and how it should be when you don't know, when you've never experienced. That's, experience means a lot. It's not just, I know every verse in the Bible. Again, I've spoken about this before. I know some guys. I laugh because I joke with my wife. There's a line, and Ruckman's definitely got a lot of faults. Don't get me wrong, but there's a line by him I love. He goes, "I've known some birds," and I'll use that line because I've known some birds. I've known some guys who just absolutely know every verse, and I used to be stunned by them as I was younger. Like, they could quote a scripture off the top of their head, and I was like, wow, these guys are amazing. These are the most godly men in the world. And then you find out more about them, and they weren't as godly as you thought they were. So, again, using discernment on folks who can do that, who can quote you every word of the Bible by heart, still be wary, like the Bereans. Be wary, search scripture, and test them by their fruits. Really, and people like myself, if you're watching me on screen, I understand it's harder for you to hold me accountable because you don't see me every day in this world. You don't interact with me every day in this lifetime. So how do we hold those people accountable that are online doing these videos and these live streams and preaching and teaching? And then I'm not saying there's no good ones. I'm just saying, just use your discernment when watching them. I know it's not got nothing to do with the workplace, but just be mindful, be wary, just watch. I have a lot of, I guess you could say, a lot of trust issues, a lack of better phrasing, because I've seen a lot of very deceitful men who you think there's something and they're not. And always trust your gut instinct. If you think something ain't right, go with it. Because that could be the Holy Spirit telling you something ain't right here. You need to back up. You need to just kind of walk away for a moment. And that happens with people who you might be friends with. You might be friends with a guy, and you're friends with this guy. You're friends with this guy, or girls. There's ladies out there too who watch. So thank you. So this girl's having a problem. I guess I'm saying girls, so somebody gets offended, but this young lady or this woman has a problem with this woman, and you're caught in between, and you don't know what to do. Step away, because you could cause problems. Like, hey, listen, I better step away from what's going on here for a second. Let me just back up. Let me pray. Let me get guidance from the Lord. Lord, what do you want me to do here? And that's sometimes we're very reactive to these things, and instead of the old saying, be proactive and not reactive. But we need to be proactive about really analyzing things. And I've been around for a while now, been around a long time. And so even I sometimes don't, I guess, fact check or verify or ask more questions sometimes when I should have. Sometimes you go with, like, hey, maybe this person is a good person. They may be a little off or whatever, but, sometimes what you're feeling might be right. There might be something wrong there. And that's when you need to step aside, pray, and say, Lord, what do you want me to do here? Because I'm a little confused at it. What time is it now, folks? Is it almost an hour? Not that I'm trying to get off there, but I don't want to keep everybody on all night. Some folks can go on for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't want to do long live streams like that because I know people have to get up in the morning sometimes. And for me, this is kind of late. I get up at 3:15, 3:30. We're in that area most of the time. I get up that early, and sometimes I don't. I get up a little later than that, and my day starts a little later than that. But normally everywhere, I'm usually starting work anywhere between 5 and 6 in the morning, and I'm usually home by 5 or 6 at night. So what do you do? So this is late for me. But thank you for everybody that's tuned in. I am, like I say on my podcast, I am extremely great. I'm going to actually leave a link, I think, in it. I never usually do because I try not to be doing that kind of thing, and I feel like I don't know, I feel like it's wrong to be marketing or something like that. I don't know, but I'm gonna leave a link anyways. But I am thankful and I am absolutely grateful for anyone who's watching now and anyone who's going to watch later on. I really appreciate your time, and I'm honestly thankful and grateful that you've taken your time to watch me. And with that, to everyone out there, God bless, and I hope to see you next week. Good night.